In this video, I'm going to be talking about overrated versus underrated golf equipment that's currently on the market. So before we get started, I will just mention our gear giveaway. If you want to enter into our subscriber milestone giveaways every 1,000 subs, simply subscribe to the channel, like this video, comment giveaway down below, do those three things and you'll be automatically entered. So let's get started. First is going to be the Titleist TS clubs, and in my opinion they are overrated. I don't like pretty much everything about the TS drivers from Titleist. The price is pretty ridiculous, to be honest, and I didn't get any sort of benefit at all compared to a driver half the price. I'm not saying it's bad, but just for the majority of people, I'm sure like tour players, low handicap players, they might see good results out of it, but for the majority of people, it's not going to be a good option and it is going to be overrated. Number two is going to be the Wilson Staff D7. This is underrated in my opinion. Most people overlook Wilson Staff products, but they are actually one of my favorites, both clubs and balls. The D7 irons are really good as well as some of the Wilson Staff balls for more of your average player. They are affordable, they perform really well, and are a great product for most of the average golfers out there. And the next thing that's going to be overrated are fairway woods. I haven't used a fairway wood in a couple of seasons now, and I don't miss it whatsoever. They aren't as versatile as some of the other clubs out there, and they aren't the easiest thing to hit from the fairway. So what is better? In my opinion, hybrids are going to be better, and they are underrated. I've replaced my fairway woods with hybrids, and they are much easier to hit in my opinion and are much more versatile. They go almost as far, probably not quite, but they are really close. But the average player could use them a lot more. You can use them off the tee, from the fairway, in the rough, around the green for bump and runs. You can really use them in a bunch of different situations, and there really is no reason to use fairway woods in my opinion. Overrated is going to be fat grip putters, and word on the street is that fat grips they're going to magically lower your scores overnight, and that's simply the furthest thing from the truth. I do use these grips personally and I do prefer them, but the truth is they're not going to help you sink more putts. I just found them to be more comfortable, but my performance on the green didn't improve at all by switching to them. But I do use them, I do prefer them, but they're not going to magically fix your swing. Underrated is going to be leaving the pin in versus taking it out. And I've been leaving the pin in, and it's been so much better in my opinion. There's no more hassle of taking the pin out, slowing down the game, asking your buddies if they want to in or out. Just leave it in, and it's going to work much better. It's never once caused me to miss a putt, so there really is no point in taking it out in my opinion. Overrated is going to be draw bias clubs, and this is one of the crazy things golfers do to try to fix their swing. But why do they actually do this? It doesn't make any sense to cover for a bad swing. Like, why not just get a bad swing fixed instead of trying to get a club that's going to do it for you? And from experience, that doesn't even fix your hook or slice anyway. So what's the point of even having one if it's not going to fix it? Just go out and get your swing fixed, and then whatever club you use, it's not even going to matter. You can use a club that's going to be 20 years old and it'll be perfectly fine. Underrated is going to be Noodle balls, and most people laugh at the sight of a Noodle ball. But they actually are one of my favorites. I guarantee you're going to lose less balls on the course if you do switch to these. This is more for the average, mid to high handicap player who tends to lose a lot of balls. I guarantee you if you switch to these balls, it might not go as far like when struck pure as some of the other ones out there, but it's going to stay in the fairway, and you are going to lower scores because of it. Overrated game improvement irons, and this is somewhat similar to the draw bias clubs, but instead of getting clubs to fix your bad swing, why not just get it fixed in the first place, and then you can use literally whatever club you want. You can use like a set of $100 irons from Costco, and it's going to be completely fine if you do have a good swing. Underrated is going to be practice, and practice is going to be much better than some gimmicks or new clubs, new training aids, whatever. If you'll be willing to spend a couple of hours each week practicing, you're going to be far better off than going out and buying the latest and greatest golf club. I promise you that. Overrated Scotty putters, and this might be the biggest scam in the history of golf for the average player right now. The price on these things is absolutely crazy, and it was no better for me compared to a $30 putter from Walmart. If you are a professional golfer, you might see a slight benefit, but for the average person, it's really going to give you no better results on the green. I know from experience, so just trust me. Overrated is going to be expensive rangefinders. I'm all for knowing the precise distance to things on the course, but does the average golfer really need a $500 distance finder? Tour players, sure, but like Joe, the average weekend golfer, doesn't need to be accurate to half a yard. Any like $200 rangefinder is going to be perfectly fine and it's going to do the job. I would suggest having one, but you don't need to go out and spend $500 on one. Underrated is going to be free golf apps. And most people these days have some sort of smartphone, and guess what? You can use a free golf app that's going to tell you the distance to pretty much everything on the course. It's not going to be absolutely perfect, and it's not going to be as accurate as some of the more expensive ones, but it's free, and it's going to be good enough for the majority of people out there. Overrated new clubs. You probably know the guy who has the latest clubs every single year, but manages to spend half the round looking in the trees for their ball. I know plenty of people who have clubs from the 90s and still manage to put up great scores, so it's not the clubs, it's your swing. So get your swing fixed first, then you can use new clubs if you want, but pretty much clubs, they aren't really going to make a big deal for the average person. Underrated new swing. If you fix your swing, then you can play a good round with pretty much any club out there. Spend your time and money at the range or get some lessons first, and then go for the new clubs, new gear, that kind of thing. Overrated is going to be buying beer at the course. If you do buy beer at the course, then I really don't know what to say. The amount of money I've been able to save by bringing my own has been a good chunk of change. I've been able to buy brand new sets of irons, all this kind of stuff just from the money I would have saved by bringing instead of buying. Overrated, hitting driver. Everyone wants to be the hero off the tee, and you probably know it doesn't always go well most of the time. If you always slice or hook your driver, try hitting something else and you're probably going to lower your scores. That's what I did, and it's been great. Underrated driving irons. I could always hit my driver pretty well, but there was the odd time when I would slice it over to the other fairway, but by using a driving iron or hybrid off the tee, I've been able to lower scores and I found myself in the fairway much more of the time. Just simply put the ball 200 yards in the fairway and you're going to most likely play better golf. I promise you that. Underrated is going to be Twilight golf. I've been playing a lot of Twilight golf lately and it's been way better in my opinion. It's not as hot out, there's literally nobody else there, and I can get on the course for under 20 bucks. Overrated 60-degree wedges. The average golfer should probably avoid the 60-degree wedge as much as possible. Only use it if you need to lob the ball over like a bunker or a tree or something. So only use it for that, and you will lower scores. Underrated bump and runs. This has been a game changer for me, and I'd highly recommend you give it a try. Instead of using a 60-degree around the green, use like your 8 or 9 iron to bump the ball onto the green and let it run up, and you will lower scores by doing this. So that has been my list of the biggest underrated and overrated golf things out there. So let me know if you have any thoughts, if you have anything you want to add, or if you want to disagree. Leave a comment down below, let me know. And if you haven't already watched and commented on our latest video, click the video card to the left and get yourself another entry into our golf giveaway.